of syringoma, it's best that you actually go a bit deeper than just leveling off the syringoma with the surrounding skin, which is where we actually describe and we show you how electrical arcing is used in order to remove syringoma. But because syringoma is actually rooted a bit inside the dermis, so you've got to go inside the skin a bit more. Back to where they were, almost back to where they were before you treated them. So, and the customer will not be particularly pleased. At the time when we wrote this, the main device that was used for this was the hyfricator. In this video we're going to perform a readout of the page called Syringoma and Electrofulguration, which is basically talking about how we use electrical arcing in order to remove syringoma. So if you watched our videos and you've studied this website, you realize that this is one of the most effective ways to remove syringoma in aesthetic clinics. And you can actually watch the videos on this webpage where we actually describe and we show you how electrical arcing is used in order to remove syringoma. But let's actually do the readout here. So what is electrofulguration? Electrofulguration or electrodesiccations are all synonyms of a similar method used in cosmetic procedures. Electrofulguration or electrolysis, which are slightly different, but we're just going to call them the same for in this instance, is normally used for epilation, red veins removal and other applications. Electrofulguration is generally used in cosmetic procedures because the high degree of accuracy in the ablation of the benign skin lesions. The higher degree of precision and low power levels, less than 2 watts, makes the cosmetic procedure extremely effective and safe. And this particular image, we're actually seeing the difference between electrofulguration, which is actually an arc that goes into the skin, and electrodesiccation, which is actually the same type of physical phenomenon, but with a different configuration, and the ablation is much deeper. But we're not going to talk about that in much detail here. Electrofulguration normally occurs without the return pad. The spark or arc will occur between the tip of the electrode and the skin. As seen in the picture above, the advantage of electrofulguration is that the ablation is much more precise and superficial than electrodesiccation by using the return pad for the same reasons. Electrofulguration is the preferred option for cosmetic and aesthetics treatments. As shown in the above video, electrofulguration is very effective in burning off syringoma. One of the main advantages of electrofulguration is that all or most of the syringoma can be removed within one session. The cosmetic results are usually excellent, and the beautician has taken care in leveling the syringoma off. Now, as we've seen in other videos in other parts of this website, basically, in order to minimize the risk of recurrence or the recurrence rate of syringoma, it's best that you actually go a bit deeper than just leveling off the syringoma with the surrounding skin, which is, we actually written this in 2015 when we didn't have as much experience on removing syringoma as yet. But now, with the experience we've got, we know that it's much better to actually get deeper inside the skin, because syringoma is actually rooted a bit inside the dermis, so you've got to go inside the skin a bit more than leveling off. If you're leveling off the syringoma, as many other cosmetic clinics do, basically syringoma will be back on within 10 days after the treatment, so we'll be back to where they were, almost back to where they were before you treated them. So, and the customer will not be particularly pleased. The success rate of these procedures is very much dependent on the ability of the operator and the equipment used. The equipment has to have the capabilities to operate at very low power because the syringoma are not very thick, and a powerful ablation could result in damage to the dermis and therefore permanent scarring. When we wrote this particular piece of information, there were many devices out there for this application, but then there is more and more. So the problem by having the high power device and so on is not there anymore. At the time when we wrote this, the main device that was used for this was the high fricator, whereas now there's many other devices on the market, so it's not a big deal. The method used to remove the syringoma by electrodesiccation is very simple, and this involves simply ablating the lesions from the top and level it off with the rest of the surrounding skin. However, since syringoma reside inside the dermis as well, in order to minimize the recurrence, it is advisable to ablate them deeper inside the dermis, and which is actually true. We actually knew even then. This is because it has been reported that most of the recurrence of syringoma is due to the fact that simply leveling off the syringoma with the surrounding skin is not sufficient to remove them completely, and they will regrow soon after healing, a couple of weeks after the cosmetic procedure, and this is actually true. So also I've got this particular video which we actually shot in 2015, which appear there. I mean, people tend to say that I'm better looking now than almost 40 when I was 35, but anyway, that doesn't really matter. Thank you very much for watching this video, and you find much more information on syringomaremoval.com, and if you don't find the information you're looking for, why don't you just get in touch with us? Our contact page is on our website. So thank you very much for watching.